Fox 35 NewsEdge at 8 starts now.
We're learning more about a deadly alligator attack. An 85-year-old Florida woman is now dead. I'm Ray Vieda. Thanks for joining us on this Monday night. Wildlife officers rushed to the scene in St. Lucie County, about 70 miles north of West Palm Beach. The nearly 11-foot gator was trapped and hauled away. Neighbors say the elderly woman was walking her dog near a pond around noon today when the gator grabbed the pet. She tried to get the dog away from the reptile, but then the gator attacked her. The dog survived. The woman's name is not being released right now. FWC says alligator attacks are rare, but if you see a nuisance gator, you should call their hotline, 866-FWC-GATOR. Projecting hate at the Speedway, the message shining on the grandstand at the Daytona 500 over the weekend. Anti-Semitic flyers were also tossed out in front of homes along Daytona Beach, Ormond Beach, and Port Orange. Fox 35's Patrick Perez is joining us live from Volusia. And Patrick, law enforcement officials are taking a stand against the hate.
Yeah, Ray, the Daytona Beach Police Department says groups like these like to push the boundaries so that they can get arrested and then test their First Amendment rights in court. So the sheriff is calling the people behind this scumbags and cowards. He wants to make sure that the methods, I should say, that they use to spread this hate speech becomes a crime. Now, coming up at 10 o'clock, we're going to talk about that, about some proposed legislation that would do exactly that. For now, we're live in Daytona Beach. I'm Patrick Perez, Fox 35 News.
Patrick, we'll see you later. Thank you. A similar incident happened back in October. An anti-Semitic message appeared around TIAA Stadium in Jacksonville during the Georgia and Florida football game. Some people also flew messages carrying that same message over the city. Coming up tonight on Fox 35 News at 10, we'll dig into the proposal to make anti-Semitic hate speech like this against the law in Florida, whether it be on the side of buildings or in flyers or pamphlets. Join us for that angle of the story tonight at 10. This 28-year-old woman was killed while riding her scooter over the weekend. FHP says someone ran into her and then took off. Fox 35's Marlisa Goldsmith picks up the story from East Orange County. And that was Marlisa Goldsmith reporting. In Brevard County, we've learned more about the drowning death of a 24-year-old man. It happened yesterday in India Atlantic. Police say they found the man unresponsive in the water. Officials believe rip currents were a factor in the man's death. Parents and teachers are nervous after 2 Orange County students were hit by drivers who refused to stop. One was in Ocoee, the other in Winter Garden. Orange County Public Schools now urging parents to talk to their kids about traffic safety, whether they're walking or riding their bikes. Building Central Florida, Brightline is coming in fast, but there are concerns over safety after multiple deadly accidents in other areas where the high-speed railways are already running. We decided to take those concerns to Brightline. Fox 35's Dave Puglisi got an exclusive ride on one of the trains. Turning now to get a live look over downtown Orlando, the city beautiful, looking just that. Temperatures are still hovering around 80, and thankfully the humidity was not too high. It was a beautiful day out there. Fox 35 storm team meteorologist Brooks Garner joining us now. Brooks, I see a lot of orange behind you.
Yes, it includes most of the southern tier. This is the big picture showing you the jet stream, and our weather this week is going to be ridiculously warm. We're looking at a record high temperature on the way for Thursday. We haven't seen the likes of in over 6 decades, over 60 years. And indeed, the long-range forecast calls for our region of the U.S., our little region, our humble little spot, maybe not so humble, to get a huge heat wave, considering the time of year. Our average high is 76 degrees, and we're going to be pushing 90 for the better part of the 7-day forecast starting on Wednesday. Well, right now it's 72 degrees, Kissimmee Lakefront Park. Beautiful shot there with the lighthouse. Great place to hang out and enjoy the evening air. Meanwhile, 72 here at the Sanford International Airport, and temperatures are going to be slow to fall. We go from the upper 60s to the low 60s by tomorrow morning, and then we quickly launch into the 80s again tomorrow. It is 72 at Palm Coast, 73 at St. Cloud. Notice how it's already in the mid 60s along the I-75 corridor. They got a jump start in the cooling thanks to a pretty busy west wind. The Gulf of Mexico sea breeze porting in some slightly cooler weather, but of interest, that southwest flow is going to be the driving force to really warm things up around here over the next 7 days. Tomorrow we get a little preview of it. It will not be a cold day, that's for sure. A touch cool maybe before about 8 a.m. with 62 degrees at the bus stop, but then warming up to 86. So coming up, I'll show you how hot we're going to get, how long it'll last. You know, Ray, it's one thing to talk about daily high temperatures and breaking records, which is no small feat. But when you're talking about breaking a record that Orlando has never seen in its recorded history, dating back to 1892, that starts to raise eyebrows, and I'll show you how hot that will be, because it's definitely something you wouldn't see this time of year normally, and in fact, a lot of people have never seen it this hot in February.
Making history one forecast at a time. Brooks Garner, thank you. A news alert now. Former President Jimmy Carter is now in hospice care. Fox's Caroline Shively updates us on the huge outpouring of support for him and his family since the news broke. Still ahead on the News Edge at 8. If you're driving up on I-4, you've probably seen a speed demon. We find out if express lanes are making it easier for FHP to catch speeding drivers or harder. Also, a dramatic rescue caught on camera. What happened that left 3 people in the water off Key West this afternoon. The News Edge at 8 is just getting started on this Monday, February 20th. You're watching Central Florida's only prime time live local news. Stay right there.
Depend on Fox 35 News.
We're learning about what's happening now and why.
For weather forecasts that get it right.
For saving your hard-earned money.
For getting to work and school on time.
For keeping your family safe.
For staying up to date.
For a team you can trust.
We are Fox 35. You can depend on us.
Fox 35 continues to dig deeper into issues with extreme speed on I-4. After we got a new video of someone doing more than 130 miles an hour, we started asking about the express lanes. Take a look. This is the video. It shows the driver almost hitting other cars as they went through Orange County. FHP says it responded to a few issues with extreme speeders within a month. We asked FHP today if the express lanes are making it tougher to catch people with a heavy foot.
People are able to get on the express lanes to be able to reach their destinations in a timely manner. However, at the end of the day, it is more coverage for us. It's adding 4 extra lanes, 2 eastbound, 2 westbound. So it just takes a lot more work for us to handle.
FHP tells us it has troopers that are specifically assigned to the I-4 corridor to help keep drivers safe. Florida's first electric school buses are on the road in Orange County. They look like any other school bus. We got the chance to check them out this morning.
This is your battery pack from back here to here. When we get to this point, we convert it to AC power.
Just like an electric car, you use a really powerful extension cord to plug in the electric school bus. Orange County is testing out 6 buses to see if they're cost-effective for the district. Orlando Health gave us a behind-the-scenes look at their state-of-the-art new facility today. The Jewett Orthopedic Institute will open in 2 phases starting next month. The 375,000-foot complex is part of Orlando Health's downtown campus. Patients can get all of their orthopedic care in that one location, including imaging, surgery, and physical therapy. Officials say it's the only institute of its kind in the Southeast.
We know we have doctor shortages throughout the United States, and if they could be educated at a facility of this caliber, that puts people out in the community that have access to the latest technologies and the best training you can get, in my opinion, in the Southeast.
Phase 2 of the opening is in August when surgeries start. Still ahead at 8, rallying around Ukraine with the president announced in a surprise visit to the war-torn country now that it's been a year since Russia invaded. Also calling on the government to step up. Families in Ohio are frustrated after a massive train crash forced them from their homes. The fears surrounding toxic chemicals are still lingering.
We are Fox 35. You can depend on us.
A news alert now. President Joe Biden is in Poland tonight, but not before making an unexpected stop to visit Ukraine. President Biden spent 5 hours in Kyiv meeting with Ukraine's president. He announced a new $450 million aid package to help. The leaders visited a memorial to fallen Ukrainian soldiers. A year of intense fighting has left thousands of troops and civilians killed.
1 year later, Kyiv stands, and Ukraine stands. Democracy stands. The Americans stand with you, and the world stands with you.
The president now in Warsaw, where he will mark the 1-year anniversary of the invasion. Classes resumed at Michigan State University after the mass shooting 1 week ago. 3 students were killed, 5 were hurt. MSU police say all of those students are still in the hospital. The FBI investigating a hack that targeted its computer network. The agency says it believes this was connected to computers in its New York office. Those computers were used to investigate child sexual exploitation. A new study says a COVID shot may help lower your risk of heart complications after getting COVID. Researchers from Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai emphasized the study doesn't necessarily show the link between heart issues and the vaccine, but the findings suggest that being vaccinated can be beneficial when dealing with post-COVID complications. More fallout in East Palestine, Ohio, following a train crash and chemical spill. Federal aid is now going out to families living there. But as Fox's Garrett Tenney explains, some folks feel more should be done. Still ahead at 8, SpaceX getting a slap on the wrist from the federal government, what the company goofed on and how many thousands of dollars it's going to cost them. Also, imagine landing in Orlando to start your vacation, just to wait hours in line to get a rental car. What caused this mess this weekend at OIA just ahead, and Brooks is here to talk about the week ahead.
Hello, Ray. Well, this week is going to be historic weather-wise thanks to a huge and out-of-season ridge of high pressure. We're talking about not only the hottest weather so far in 2023, but a record that may stand far beyond the decade we currently reside.
When you're a mom, knowing what's going on in your neighborhood becomes so important because it could affect their future. At Fox 35 News, we give parents a chance to catch up after another busy day.
Lou and Sorrell, weeknights on Fox 35 News. Fox 35 NewsEdge at 8 starts now.
Welcome back to the NewsEdge at 8 as we take a live look at Daytona Beach shores. You could see some cars there in the distance. There will definitely be a lot of people heading to the beach this week. That's because there are a lot of 80s in our forecast. For more on that, let's turn to Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner. And Brooks, the best part of the forecast is I didn't see any chance of rain this weekend coming up.
It is good
even though
news.
It's Monday.
Yeah, I know it's Monday. It's good news, which means on Friday suddenly we're going to have a rainy weekend. Yeah,
I
you know how
exactly.
that goes. Just kidding, just kidding. No, if you've got water park plans or beach plans or any outdoor plans that require dry weather, this is a forecast you'll really love. But it comes at the cost that a lot of us are starting to dry out, and we actually could use the rain for the lawns and gardens. But that said, hey, it's less mowing, right? Less grass growing. 71 degrees right now at the Fox 35 studios in Lake Mary, just north of Orlando and Seminole County along I-4. Now, this is the fire season as far as prescribed burns being set. All of these red dots are current burns being detected by satellite. It can actually see the hot spots and the attendant smoke plumes. And they set these fires to clear out thick brush in the woods so that later in the season, when lightning strikes, it doesn't cause a massive out-of-control wildfire. It's a little bit easier to control because there's less burning. That said, the smoke plumes will be wafting over Orlando, so basically anything that burns west of us will probably catch some of that. You may smell it in the air or at least notice the sky has a little bit of a smoky feel to it. That said, with later this week, when the weather starts to warm up and some of these prescribed burns are going, they could jump a little bit more easily. And you also have to be careful with your own burning when we get into that part of the week because the humidity values will be very low, probably like 25% or less. Forecast smoke overnight. It's all about that west wind for both bringing smoke over here from there and also making it very warm because the air is going to be blowing over land more so than water, allowing it to warm up. But with this air mass moving in, this warm air from the south and air that's a little bit more humid, we're actually seeing some sea fog develop over the comparatively cooler Gulf waters. They're cool this time of year in the 60s. And so we may see some sea fog developing late tonight in Gulf Coast counties. That said, big story is this. See the thermometer and sun and high pressure? You know what that means. Yep, 90 to 91. And that weather arrives for the middle of the week and stays with us right through the weekend into next week. This ridge of high pressure is unusual for this time of year, to say the least. And the pollen is going to match the forecast. It will remain quite high. So a lot of us are going to be thinking about going to the beaches this week. Just be careful with the rip current risk. Tomorrow at Satellite Beach, we'll see 76 by noon and a temperature of 79. That'll be about the high there tomorrow at 5 p.m. High temperature happening a little bit later in the afternoon. High tide, by the way, at 8:30 in the morning, followed by a low tide at 2:45. So the tide will be going out for much of the morning into the middle of the day. That's when rip currents are more likely, when the tide's going out. All right, as far as the rest of the beach locations tomorrow go, at Cocoa Beach, we'll see 81 degrees at 4 o'clock. Once you're away from the sand, we'll quickly warm into the 80s, like here at New Smyrna Beach. But if you go onto the actual barrier island itself, you're going to be in the mid-70s for high temperatures there. And finally, we go to Palm Coast in Flagler County, where we'll see 82 degrees, again, away from the beach, west of the Intracoastal. All right, tomorrow at the theme parks, it's going to be great, but make sure you drink a lot of water. High temps about 86 degrees. Perfect weather, though. Magical. Now, this week's going to be exciting here in Florida as well because we've got some launches planned. In fact, SpaceX is launching their Falcon 9 coming up 2 times this week. Once on Thursday at 1:37 p.m., an afternoon launch with a 95% chance for a go. And then actually technically early next week. It'll be Saturday night at like 2 a.m. Early Sunday morning, they're going to launch Crew 6 up to the space station. Actual astronauts will be flying, and weather looks great for that launch as well. All right, here's the scoop on the heat. 86 tomorrow, then close to 90 from Wednesday right through Monday of next week. 91 is my forecast high on Thursday. That's significant because that would represent the warmest weather we've ever had on record in Orlando during the month of February. The last time it was anywhere near as hot was 90 degrees in February, and that was in 1962, 61 years ago, and then it happened twice in 1935. So, Ray, this is very unusual, and look how many instances of 90 we could achieve.
Historic heat, yeah, I don't know. There was. I was trying to find another H for alliteration, and I got lost.
No, it worked. Historic heat is
Historic heat.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brooks. This is the polar opposite of the weather that we've been having. Minnesota bracing for a lot of snow this week. Experts say they could be getting 1 to 2 feet of snow. Well, TSA says it took a record number of guns at airports last year. The total number is 6,542. Travelers are not allowed to have guns in their carry-ons, even if they have a concealed weapons permit. Anyone who violates that rule could be fined and charged. Guns are allowed in checked baggage. The Federal Aviation Administration is proposing a $175,000 fine against SpaceX for not submitting required pre-launch data. According to the agency, SpaceX was required to submit the data at least 7 days beforehand. The data is used to look into the probability of the vehicle colliding with any other objects orbiting the Earth. This was surrounding a launch that happened from Cape Canaveral last August. We are now less than a week away from the days space fans have been waiting for. You heard Brooks talk about this. Early Sunday morning, NASA and SpaceX will send the next crewed launch to the ISS. The launch takes place at 2:07 from Cape Canaveral, and we'll bring it to you live right here on Fox 35. The crew is expected to arrive at the International Space Station the following morning. Still ahead on the News Edge at 8, more headaches at airports, but it's not over cancellations and delays this time. What ruined a lot of people's plans this weekend. Plus, playing at the beach with your dog. Sounds ideal, right? But there's not a lot of places to do it in Volusia County. We look into the issue getting new attention ahead. We'll get you caught up on what's happening now
and prepare you for what's coming your way next.
Depend on Ray Vieta and Brooks Garner. Fox 35 News on Fox 35 Plus weeknights.
I love Central Florida because we're blessed with beautiful, bright sunshine. I love boating, I love to fish. There's always something to catch, and the weather's always gorgeous.
Watch Jamie King weekdays on Good Day Orlando.
I'm a Florida boy. This is my happy place, being on the water. I love what I do and do what I love, and that's why we love Florida.
Well, this massive line of people on your screen is not for a theme park ride. All these people were waiting to rent a car at OIA. People were stuck there for hours. Fox 35's Stephanie Buffamonte explains the problem isn't just happening in Orlando. Today is President's Day. It happens on the third Monday of every February. It happens right near the birthday of the first president, George Washington. Historians from Mount Vernon say Washington was a humble man and not one for a big party. Still, families gathered at his estate to honor his legacy, complete with a special tribute from Continental Army reenactors.
It has been said that the father of our country was less eloquent than Jefferson, less educated than Madison, less experienced than Franklin, less talented than Hamilton. Yet all these leaders looked to Washington to lead them because of one simple fact. They trusted him with power.
President's Day also celebrates Abraham Lincoln's birthday, which is on February 12th. Still to come tonight, Volusia County has some beautiful beaches, but dog owners feel left out. Why there are a few beaches where dogs are allowed. Also, that's definitely not where a gator is supposed to be. Just wait until you hear where this 4-footer was pulled out of the water and now being taken care of. Next on the News Edge at 8.
Fox 35 News is brought to you in part by Aqua Living Factory Outlets. Deadly pythons.
They'll eat just about anything.
Now snake hunters have a new weapon when Florida attacks pythons versus possums. Tuesday night at 10 on Fox 35 News.
Check this out, a 4-foot gator caught by park rangers in Brooklyn, New York. Crews say the gator was very lethargic and possibly cold shocked since it's used to warmer climates. It was taken to the Bronx Zoo for rehab. Releasing animals into New York City parks is illegal. Back at home, barking for beaches. Dog lovers want more pet-friendly beaches in Volusia County. That's because finding a beach for dogs can take some research. The county council will bring it up during a meeting tomorrow afternoon. Right now, owners can only bring their dogs to Lighthouse Point Park in Ponce Inlet and Smyrna Dunes Park in New Smyrna Beach. It should be noted those parks are on the inlet side, not the Atlantic. The county has talked about expanding access to Atlantic beaches twice in the past decade, in 2014 and 2021. The idea was voted down both times. We hit the beaches today in Volusia to ask people what they think.
I think it would be wonderful because I know a few people who travel a long distance to bring their dogs here, and the dogs are not allowed on the people beach, so it gives people with the dog a chance to get to the beach. It was popular, and then they redid the boardwalk a few years ago, and now it's super popular.
Beachgoers tell us adding more dog beaches would really benefit residents and get good use. Dogs would have to be on a leash, and owners would have to clean up after them, of course. The meeting starts at 4 o'clock tomorrow. We'll let you know what they decide. A famous pair of eagles have built their new home on the Space Coast. The couple are nested in a tree at the Kennedy Space Center. It's located just a few miles south of the Vehicle Assembly Building. Bad storms destroyed the birds' original nest back in 2021. That one was built in 1973. The new nest is closer to the Kennedy Parkway, which makes it easier for people to see. The attraction is pretty popular, with thousands of Kennedy employees and visitors looking forward to see the birds over the past few decades. Orlando City starts their season this week, and they will have some new kits. The team showed it to us on Good Day Orlando this morning. It's inspired by the team's supporters, and it's called the Wall Kit. The kit is purple and looks like a brick wall.
It's a big part of soccer culture, right? I think it's become fashion. I mean, it's become something that it's one of the biggest events of the year for our clubs.
Orlando City opens their season this Saturday against the New York Red Bulls. Next on the News Edge at 8, a rubber ducky. It's become a popular custom for some people, but keeping them on the dash can be difficult. In just a few minutes, we'll hear from a local woman who set out on a quest to solve that problem. You're watching Central Florida's only primetime live local news on this Monday night. Stay right there. People around the world are giving each other a little token of love in the form of a rubber ducky. The random acts of quackiness are especially popular with Jeep enthusiasts and cruise ship guests. But a Central Florida woman found a problem with it and subsequently a solution. Fox 35's David Martin introduces us to Duction Cups. New tonight, it's a list that no one wants to be on. A new report shows the country's dirtiest cities. Orlando landed in the top 25. The lawn care company Lawn Starter looked at more than 150 of the country's biggest cities. Orlando ranks 24th for the dirtiest. The top 3 cleanest ranked are Houston, Newark, New Jersey, and San Bernardino, California. Still ahead on the News Edge at 8, stranded out on open water, hanging on a floating ice chest. We'll show you the rescue from way up high next. Caught on camera, 2 brothers cling to a cooler, waiting for hours to be rescued off the coast of Australia. Their boat flipped over on Saturday from a powerful wave, and neither were hurt but were taken to the hospital to get checked out. Well, Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner joining us now. Brooks, what is the morning looking like tomorrow?
Well, the morning tomorrow, Ray, is going to be one featuring low 60s. But look what awaits on Thursday. Thursday may be the hottest February day in Orlando history. I feel like I need an echo effect with this very loud graphic behind me, but indeed, this will be historic because if you look back in time, last time we saw anything like this was in 1962 when the high temperature reached 90 degrees. That so far is the hottest temperature ever recorded in Orlando since records were kept in the late 19th century. On Thursday of this week, which will be about February the 23rd, we're going to run up to about 91 degrees, and that will achieve a brand new record. So 63 degrees will be our wake-up temperature tomorrow morning once we get into the Port Canaveral area, and we're going to warm up to 81. That 81 happening at 5, so it'll be kind of a later high temperature, and that's thanks to the breeze coming out of the southwest. So while we're baking here on the East Coast, look what's going on the West Coast. Our Fox Weather Alert System lighting up with blizzard warnings. That's right, for snow from Colorado to Montana to Wyoming, from the Ghost River to, well, to the Rocky Mountains. And here it is. You see all the pink on the map? These are winter storm warnings. In the dark blue right here in the middle of the Wyoming area, this is going to be north of Cheyenne, Wyoming, is under a blizzard warning. And so, yes, quite a contrasting climate. Same country, completely different seasons. You might as well be in a different hemisphere when thinking about blizzard conditions when we're sitting here in the 90s later this week, achieving these all-time record highs. It's all thanks to a very amplified jet stream. Big dip in the west, big ridge in the east. 62 will be the low tonight in Orlando, 60 in Ocala. Possibility of some patchy fog up and down the I-75 corridor, but not as likely. We'll just have to see how that goes. If the winds calm down out of the southwest a little bit, they could get a little bit of fog there. Otherwise, for everybody else, looks to be partly cloudy at worst. So in the 7-day forecast, tomorrow, 86 degrees. That'll be a solid 10 degrees warmer than our typical high. 89 on Wednesday. That'll break the record of 88 set back in 2003. 91 on Thursday would be record heat for the month. And by the way, another tidbit, if by chance we hit 92, that would be the hottest temperature ever recorded in the 3 months of meteorological winter, which is December, January, and February here in Orlando. And look at how long the 90s continue, Ray. I mean, that's a 7-day forecast you'd see in June, not in February. I guess the one difference is we don't have the humidity that you have in June. That said, record highs for 5 days out of the next 7. Okay, there you go, Florida.
Brooks, does this mean that it's going to be hotter, even hotter this summer?
We hope not, but if you look back at the analogs, 1935 was a bad year for the hurricane season for Florida. So hopefully there's not a correlation,
An omen?
results in causation or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. All right, Brooks, thank you. Well, we got a lot in store for you coming up on Fox 35 News at 10, and we start with Fox 35's Connor Hansen.
There is a record-breaking bloom of seaweed brewing out in the Atlantic, and it could be heading for Florida beaches. Coming up tonight at 10, we talk to the researchers who are tracking it.
Well, there's a new pilot program for mobile food trucks in the city of Orlando. I'm Valerie Boy, and I'll have that story.
Finally, trending tonight, a new shopping platform, now the most downloaded app in the U.S., beating out Amazon and Walmart. Temu was downloaded 24 million times since coming out in September. That's according to a data analytics company. It's an online retailer based out of Boston, which sells everything from electronics, clothes, home goods. The retailer appeared in an ad during the Super Bowl, and in it told people to shop like a billionaire. And on that note, thanks so much for joining us on the News Edge at 8 here on Fox 35 Plus. The news continues over on Fox 35 at 10 and 11. I hope you have a great night, Central Florida.